real quick.
All right, everybody. Welcome to this bonus spoiler alert episode of Our Potty Entertainment. I am Ralph. That is Ray.
Yes,
We will
sir.
be covering episode 4 of WandaVision.
Y'all ready? Ready for all the answers that Marvel
So,
gave us? Episode 4.
before we get into the deep dive, just initial thoughts was mind blowing. Holy shit. This was the
Yeah.
best episode.
Yes.
The episodes are
without a
getting
doubt.
better. This was a perfect episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think this is just setting the tone for the last 5 episodes. Because remember, and I saw the trailer for episode 5.
I didn't do that yet. I didn't because I wanted to do this episode first
So
before I
good.
listened to episode 5. So that tells you that
So
they
good.
filmed this like a movie.
Yeah.
They
So,
filmed this
all right.
like a movie without a doubt.
So real quick, let's start off. So
Let's get into the nuts
first
and
thing we
bolts of the
see,
shit.
the first thing we see when the episode starts off is we see Monica come back
from the blip.
She was blipped. That's awesome. The way they did it, the reversing of putting everybody back
together, was so fire. We didn't get to see that.
We saw a little bit of it in Spider-Man: Homecoming, but not that way. We just saw people appear. This we saw a slow motion of her being put back together from dissolving.
And then when she walks out of the room,
she's sitting in the hospital bed. So her, she's obviously all these people are appearing and like, you just hear people screaming, "Oh, they're coming back. They're coming back." We don't have room for them. They're coming back.
She bumps into one of them as well.
And then she, is asking, "Well, where's my mom?" And then someone's like, "Oh, your mom's dead." "Well, what do you mean? The surgery was good. She was alive. Everything had worked." And they're like, "No, it came back." And they were like, "You disappeared and she died
3 years later."
They're like, she died 3 years ago, 2 years after you disappeared.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. That's exact wording.
So what it is her mom died in year 2 of year 5. Because remember, it's 5 years later. So if we're going back timeline, 2018 to 2023, her mom died in 2020.
I love the way they wrote that together.
Yeah, 2 years after she disappeared. She disappeared in 2018 with Infinity War.
I love the way that they don't tell you about the blip. They just tell you, "Well, you disappeared."
Yeah.
Plain and simple, you disappeared.
But when she's talking to the guy from Sword later in a few minutes, they do mention the blip.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So when we continue going, you see when, obviously they fast forward a little bit.
A couple weeks. I think it's 3 weeks after. 3 weeks after her
a couple weeks
coming
later,
back.
You see that it shows that her mom created Sword.
She was a part. She was a big part.
She was a founder of Sword.
Her, Fury, and the Scroll. They were a big part of the Scroll.
So what that tells me is that Sword was created
in the 80s.
In the 90s. That's when Captain Marvel.
Is that the 90s? I thought it was the 80s.
No, early 90s, bro.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay. It took place in the early 90s. Because remember, she's an adult now. So if it was in the 80s, she would have been like 40.
And real quick, I love the fact that they gave you that little flashback of her right at the beginning of like the younger Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, when she was a kid in Captain Marvel. And so she ends up working. She was already an employee of.
Well, she's a captain at Sword. She's a captain at Sword.
And I don't know if you saw when they had like the picture of like her mom and then her name.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw
Maria. You saw her middle name. Right?
She was a director.
Her code name was Photon.
Photon, and that's her power supposedly.
So that was cool. I like that, and I like the interaction she had with the guy who took her mom's place. Because he's like, you should have had a say in who replaced your mom. Because her mom was the director. And then she's like, "No, like you deserve the like.
You know your job, I know mine.
You know your job, I know mine.
The only reason you got the job is because I wasn't here.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
but she said it in a very professional way, not in like
Oh,
a
yeah,
bitter
yeah,
way,
yeah. Well,
which
they
I
kind of
like.
gave each other. They gave each other little shots here, and they're like, "Oh, you haven't aged a day." I was like, "Yeah, but you look old as you look old as
But it was
hell."
it was it
It was
was it was
playful.
banter. It
It was
wasn't
playful
like,
banter
yeah, it wasn't shade. It's just banter between work colleagues because you could tell
until
they
they
were
sat
friends.
down. Until they sat down, and he told her that you're only doing terrestrial
Oh, when yeah, he
jobs.
benched her. He benched her, and she was upset about that. I
And
get it.
that
I'd be
gave us a notion of like, all right, cool. Sword was all about the
extraterrestrial.
extraterrestrial, where it was everything in space, where everything was like the cosmic universe.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives you a notion of like, all right, cool. Marvel's gonna give us the cosmic part of Marvel going forward.
Oh, we're
That's
gonna get
just
that.
so that was a good like
We're
little
gonna get that with like Miss
that was a
Marvel,
good
Captain
segue.
Marvel 2, and
That was a good
Secret
segue
Invasion.
on their end to give us like Sword's been here, but now that Shield's not here, Sword has to do
Sword,
more.
yeah. Sword is
Sword
not
has to do
just
more.
sword. They're also have to do what Shield was doing.
Now they have to do with terrestrial, which is I love the wording that they use. And when she said terrestrial, missing,
So yes,
like who put this
you're
together
no longer going. You're
in
no longer
space?
leaving Earth.
No, that's it. You're stuck here.
You're stuck here.
And she's like, who gave you the authority? Who gives you authority?
It's
Your
like, well, I
mom.
run shit now. Like your mom made this happen.
Your mom said
When you
whoever disappeared
disappeared,
for 5 years, and you if you come back, then so that tells you that they knew something. They knew
yeah,
the bigger picture. Sword knew the bigger picture, and she said if they come back or when they come back, they can't go in space
not that
anymore.
they knew the bigger picture, but I think more that
They had an
they
idea.
had faith in the Avengers fixing. They knew something was going to happen. I
You
think they
really,
knew the
you really,
Avengers. I think they had faith in the Avengers, and
even after 5 years, you think they would? They were like, well, maybe then, but then it was 2 years after, right? When she
yeah,
died, Maria died. Okay,
mm-hmm.
that's wild.
Yeah, bro.
You got me thinking on another level. I'll carry on. Well, let's carry
Yeah.
on because that's gonna sit with me, and I gotta rethink things.
So the next thing we see is her going to Westview, New Jersey. Shout out to
Jersey,
Jersey all day.
let's go,
Uh,
baby.
and we see her come
Garden
in
State.
contact, see her start interacting with Agent Woo, Jimmy Woo. He's from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes,
He's the agent that was assigned to Scott Lang's home house arrest.
probation. His probation.
Yes, his probation.
And real quick, I love his character. He's amazing. I
So
just
he's
love his character. I love his character
because he's funny when he needs to be,
and
but
serious.
in a deadpan way.
Okay,
Like
when the segueing over to
his
something
jokes
else.
are very like office type.
Okay, I get it. I love that. I
Like
love The Office. By the way, I'm a big Office fan.
He's not showing humor by like, let's say, being like spastic or
Oh
weird. His
no, not
humor
at
is
all.
just the comments that he makes.
Hmm.
So they're saying that Westview is a town. It doesn't exist. They're like, Westview doesn't exist.
Oh, because the cops from
The cops are
Eastview,
from Eastview.
and they're saying there's no such thing as Westview.
There's no such thing
So
as a
where did you
Westview.
get Eastview from? So that tells you how far Wanda's powers go,
Mm-hmm.
where it can affect a whole entire city.
And they don't have any
And
recollection of it. So
exactly, and
Westview does exist, but the citizens and everyone else
Eastview
outside of it don't
doesn't have
remember
no
it.
recollection of it whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's how strong her powers are. So let's get deeper into that because
So
that's when she
he
pulls out
sends
the that's when
the drone. It's a
yes,
helicopter.
because that's why they sent her over there in the first
But if
place.
you saw, it was very
Different.
boxy,
It was
old
a camera.
looking.
It looked like a camera though, right? It looked like a
Yeah, but it
legit
was
like a GoPro kind of camera where
yeah, and it
it
was like
had
very boxy
boxy.
type.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it goes into her, which I think they're calling is Neighborhood of M, like on the internet. That's what the internet is
Really,
calling it.
that's what they're calling it. I didn't know that.
I don't think Disney's calling it and Marvel. I think us, like the fans,
Okay, the fan. Okay.
calling it Neighborhood of M.
Mm.
And it changes color, not just changes, it changes to like
Color,
the red
shape,
and like the
everything.
Iron Man aesthetic, the gold and the red.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's actually an actual helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually kind of
With the
cool.
sword emblem as
With the
well.
sword emblem in it, which is kind of cool. And you see her approaching it because she sees that the drone disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like touching and she's like, oh, what's going on? She gets sucked in.
And that's
And
when
then
the
that's
episode really
24
begins.
hours later. They
We
got
see
the
Darcy.
military, got everybody,
Darcy.
got our girl Darcy from the Thor movies.
I loved her, by the way. Her and Jimmy Woo's
I
characters.
stand them. I stand them.
Oh my,
I love them together.
bro,
They're
that
hilarious.
dynamic was my favorite part about the whole episode. Was
But I like how she still has her characteristics from the Thor movies.
Oh yeah, they didn't take
But
anything
because
away.
of the seriousness of the issue, she's definitely a little toned down. But I like it because it shows her growth. Because remember, she was a grad student in the Thor movies.
And
now she's an actual doctor.
And she said,
she's
"Oh,
an
Miss." She said,
astrophysicist now.
"Miss." What she said, Miss Wilson. What's her last name?
Who?
Darcy. What's her last name? They said
Lewis,
her last
Darcy
name.
Lewis.
He said, "Oh, Miss Lewis." He said, "Dr. Lewis."
Dr. Lewis.
So that's why he's like, I'm a doctor now. Don't
because now she's on the same she has the same title as
Jane.
Natalie Portman's character. They're both astrophysicists now. She's no longer her intern or her grad student. Nope. She's a doctor now. So you can tell that they matured her, but it was in a good way, but it still retained her humor and her little comments, which is dope.
I hope they have more scenes together. I really hope that.
Oh, I think we will see that.
Please give us that more, please.
And they figure out that their working theory is that the universe has created a sitcom starring two Avengers.
WandaVision.
The timeline of episode 4 actually takes place during episodes 1, 2, and 3. If people want some context of when this episode takes place, it takes place at the same time that the first 3 episodes are taking place.
Perfectly timed, by the way.
You see that there's a lot of notes that they're writing down and questions that they have, identifying the citizens. So they're not SWORD employees, in my opinion.
No, they're not. And that's what I thought, because I saw SWORD and then I saw the picture and then the license.
But I think it's just their letterhead they use for their dossiers.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And because you saw the driver's licenses.
Did you notice one that didn't have one?
Yeah, I noticed.
Okay, cool.
She didn't have it. What's her fucking
Agnes
didn't
have it. Did not have one. No last name either. Everyone else had a license, last name.
Yeah.
Agnes' picture was the only one that had no license. So
these are real humans trapped in that world.
Yeah. But that shows you how strong her powers are, Jesus.
And you see them observing every episode through an old TV. So she was able to figure out what was going on by hooking up an old TV. Because of the frequency. It was an old frequency. Not something you could do with like a flat screen TV. No. It had to be a box TV. And that was cool because they're sitting there like watching and they're like invested now. They're invested in every episode, but they're still writing down questions. Did you see the part where when Vision comes back into the house after she blows away Geraldine? Let's call her Geraldine because in the world,
Geraldine. He's dead.
He's dead.
The dead. That was a big one.
He's missing the Mind Stone from his forehead, that was
something down for that one. The dead Vision was the biggest plot twist for me, because that means that she has his body. And she legit has his body in that world. I really believe that she went back to get his body and is mourning by it. And I think she's controlling his body.
And I kind of got a hot take. I think she's
the villain.
Going full villain.
It's full. I think we're getting full
House of M.
Because
there's some questions. Look, there's some questions. It's like, number 1, did she create this world?
Yes.
Number 2, is she crazy, or has she been crazy from the beginning?
Yes.
When we first met her at the end credits of Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I think she snapped once they took Vision away from her. She snapped.
No, I think she's been crazy even before that. I think she was crazy when she was being experimented on. I think being experimented on and given
snapped since then,
and given the powers through the Mind Stone. I think that affected her.
Well, let's go through all the stuff that she's been through.
I know, but you're being experimented on, right? And if you go back to the after credit scene in the end credit scene of Winter Soldier, you see when they show the twins side by side. It shows him trying to speed
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know,
And her
and then it
kind of
shows
like
her moving the
leaning,
objects,
and then
but then at
okay.
the end you see her destroy the objects, the
Hmm.
blocks. So you can tell she's had anger there since the beginning. And I think she's been crazy from the jump, not from when Vision was killed by Thanos.
I think
I
that's
think
the
she's been
camel that broke the
crazy.
straw's back, though. I
I
really
think she's been
believe.
crazy since the beginning. And it seems like she doesn't want to leave the town.
Oh no, she doesn't.
She knows,
I wrote
so
something down.
she's
Hold
controlling
on.
everything. She knows what she's doing.
So like Vision says, we don't have to stay here anymore. She goes, no, we can't go anywhere. This is our home.
Yeah.
So
But she's
she's
like,
legit.
trust me, I know what I'm doing. I got
Yeah.
this.
And she says, I have everything under control. So I'm like, oh, she's full villain. She's
She's full
legit
villain.
the villain. She's full villain. Me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I thought Mephisto. You guys can go back to episode 2 and the last spoiler alert that we dropped. But she's
Yeah.
full villain. You can see it in her eyes. You can see it in her
Mm-hmm.
tones. You can see it in
But
Vision's worry.
wait, now that changes the meaning of the scene in the trailer when they say we're going to protect our home. I know you remember that in the trailers.
Okay.
Like for the whole season, go back
Mm.
and watch the trailers and there's a clip where she's like, "No, we're going to protect our home." Because
So they're gonna
it seems
fight.
like she feels like Sword is an intrusion into her world.
That's why. Because real quick to get back to the whole before, right before the Vision says to her, "Oh, we can go anywhere we want." The beekeeper one was very crucial point when the beekeeper he goes into the manhole and you notice that the harness that's on him turns into like this jump rope kind of thing, and then they
Yeah.
reel it in, and then you could tell that it's still the jump rope kind of thing. So that tells you that the kids, when they pull the kids out of there, they're gonna be real. So
Yeah. It's
Billy and Tommy are gonna be legit young Avengers.
yeah, it's
So
gonna be
I think they're going full House M. That's how they're going to introduce the freaking X-Men. Legit.
yo, this
There's no
is
way.
I'm so excited about this. But I love the way the episode was just played out.
Oh, it was
Written,
perfect. It was
directed, the
perfect.
story wise, just how everything played
Cuz
out from
cuz
one scene to the next.
cuz a lot of people were confused on like what direction cuz it was a sitcom. I'm like you have to realize that Wanda's powers are different.
But
These
Sword also realized that every episode
Mhm.
was a different decade in TV.
Yes.
Episode 1 was the 50s, episode 2 was the
And
60s,
they
episode
mentioned
3 is the 70s.
and she mentioned when one of the FBI agents handed over to Jimmy Woo like, "Hey, listen, this is one of the pictures." He's like, "Why did you did you put color on this?" He's like,
I was like,
"No,
no, it was like that.
it was like that." And that tells you like, yo, her strength, like
Wait, and
that
you
big
also
keeper
see
part
the
was really important.
but then you also see them when they're trying to reach out to Wanda, like, Wanda,
Who's
who's
doing this
doing
to
this?
you? No,
It's
it's not.
during the meeting for the talent show.
Yes, and that
I
gives you
like,
perspective
but
on.
didn't that and I predicted all this. I told you episode 4 was going to cover the first 3 episodes, but from Sword's point of view.
Oh no,
I
yeah, you
told you.
definitely did. I'll
Remember?
give you
I
that.
called that.
You called it, and I didn't expect that. And then when I saw the trailer and I sent it to you, I was like, oh shit, he was right. Like I'm like, they gave us every.
Yeah.
Did you not? Well, real quick, did you not realize that they didn't show Dottie's picture?
That's interesting.
Right? That hit me a little bit. Like, where's Dottie at? Like,
Hmm.
okay, no Dottie.
That's very
Got it. They
interesting.
gave us Herb. They gave us Agnes. And mind you, Agnes is a big part. She's a great actress, by the way. I love her
Hmm.
as an actress in general. So that gives you a big picture. So to wrap things up, when Monica Rambeau gets launched, and I'm glad that they showed us when she got launched and how she got launched and how
I have
she.
a theory of her getting launched.
What's the theory? We
I
saw
think
it.
I think her getting launched is what is I think her
Ah,
getting blasted and getting launched out is what gave her her powers, because she's going to have powers by the end of this.
you think so? Okay,
Yeah, bro.
I like that. I like
Bro,
that
think about
theory.
it. It's Monica Rambeau. She's gonna have the powers.
And I'm surprised she didn't have it. When she got thrown off, you can tell. But okay, I see. I see. Yeah, it makes sense. All right, I'm trying to gather my thoughts real quick, so I don't want to just spew shit.
And one more thing, a little bit of a spoiler. That character is going to be in the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel TV
Oh,
show,
for a fact.
and
For a
she's going to be in
fact.
Captain Marvel
Two.
2.
For a fact.
Oh
100%.
my god, it's gonna be so good.
I tell you this right now, man. Marvel, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it,
It
guys.
was worth the wait. You gave me chills. I watched this episode twice. It's it, it it's not what I expected. It went from this weird reality to, oh shit, this is what's happening, which is what they wanted.
All right, so
Great directing.
So I figured out how we're going to rate these episodes. Wanda and Vision's powers came from what? The Mind Stone.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna do Mind Stones. So on a scale of 1 to 5 Mind Stones, what do you give this episode?
Oh fuck. This got to be a 4. I'll give it a 4 just because I don't know what else they're gonna give us. Like it's so good that I don't want to rate.
I got you.
It's so good. It answered a lot. So you know what? I'll give it a 3.5, 4 Mind Stones because they answered so much. So now the story's gonna open up. So I'm pretty sure episode 5 is gonna be a 5. Episode 5 is gonna be a 5.
I can't give it 5 yet because I just feel like every episode's gonna get better. I'm giving it 4.5 Mind Stones.
I give it a 4 because I know 5 is
give it 4.5.
Okay. And it's all Wanda. That's gonna be the name of this episode. It was all Wanda.
Yes. So
because Jesus, what a great show.
Yeah, I think that about does it for this week.
MCU, thank you again.
Yes. Ray, where can the good people find you?
Catchman RAY.MIESES on Instagram, Twitter, in the Chatty House. I still haven't figured out how Chatty House works, but big pump discouraged me, like I said last time. But either way,
you can find
Ralph,
me at Ralph Dapatino on Instagram. You can find Our Pod Your Entertainment on Instagram. You can find Fifth Ward Media on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Obviously, find our audio episodes wherever you listen to audio podcasts. And guys, thank you very much. So next week we're probably not gonna be able to do episode 5 just because we have different schedules. Engagements. We have scheduling difficulties. So I think so I don't know, up to you. That Monday, you're down to record something at night? Because I'm pretty sure you're gonna watch the episode that weekend.
Without a doubt,
you're gonna be with your girl. So obviously you're gonna be busy with her Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No, I'll watch it. We could do something Monday night. That's fine with me.
We can do a review on Monday night. I'm fine with doing a review Monday.
Yeah, because I want to
we can get it out. We can get it out Tuesday.
I want to get these spoilers have to be out sooner than later. Like we need to get it out ASAP. So you guys might get this either Saturday or Sunday, but you guys are gonna get it before the weekend's up.
Yeah. So we'll do that, and then obviously that'll be fine because it'll bring us towards episode. We'll be able to get back on the schedule for episode 6.
Yeah, that'll work.
And who knows? Maybe we'll have someone jump in and join us. Someone who watches the show. I'll reach out to some people.
You never know.
I got a buddy of mine who actually he lives in Ohio. And
full of surprises.
He told me, he's like, depending on my work schedule, let me know. I might be able to hop on with you guys.
I'm more than willing. Let's do it.
I'll talk to him and we'll see that. But guys, we're out. We're signing out. Thank you very much. We love you. We'll see you guys next week. This has been Spoiler Alert, a bonus episode.
Hashtag spoiler alert. Make sure you guys follow that.
WandaVision
Hashtag spoiler alert.
4. We out.
Peace.